my name is Gilinski, and today we're going to talk about personal branding in job search. So this personal branding thing, it's like, why do I care at all, right? Personal branding, it's probably like what brands do. How am I connected to all that? So today I'm going to talk about how personal branding is actually connected to any of us. Anyone who is searching for jobs, who's thinking to change a job, who's thinking to change a career, even people who just are working right now and very enjoying, they still might want to use personal branding. So in this episode, I'm going to share 5 tips connected to personal branding that will help you create this unique presence, create this these are all the applicants, and that's me. In my opinion, personal branding is actually the one difference between those people who are succeeding in the interviews and they're memorable and they have this amazing warm presence and people remember them, and interviewers and HRs and anyone in the company that they're interviewing with, they remember them. Till some point in my life, I was sure that basically branding is marketing thing, Companies are doing that to, brand themselves to be recognizable in the market. And then I heard personal branding, and then I was sure, okay, those the YouTubers, the Instagrammers, they're doing that. They're building their personal brand to get more followers and all that stuff. And that's a funny thing, because at some point I realized that it's actually about me. It's about my job search. It's how I'm positioning myself in the job market against other people, against other applicants. Because basically the difference between an applicant in a job market and a company, between other companies marketing itself in the consumer market, for example, there is not much difference. You also have to think about it. If you want to stand out, if you want to build this energetic presence, if you want to connect to people, if you want them to remember you, you just have to do personal branding. But guess what? The thing is that personal branding is not that complicated, huge social media thing that you have to think over and post something and whatever. No. It is actually just about your personal image, how you present yourself to people, how you talk about yourself. Not just answer the questions like question answer, but to kind of pre-build your story before. Think about it before you start, not even before you go to the interview, but before you start writing CV. So there are 5 tips that I'm going to share today on personal branding that are very easy to implement. 3 of them are about interviews, and I have first 2 about the preparation process. So first, it's going to be very short and sweet. It is about CV. Most people, while writing their resume, they basically take some template and they just fill in the information about themselves. Sometimes they come up with something more creative. In 80% cases, it's black and white and it's super templatey. And I want you to think for 1 second that flip roles. You are an HR and you got this pile 1,000 of CVs today. You had it on your email, you got it printed out, and then you have you're looking through these CVs. So my point is that if every CV there is black and white and basically all of them are the same template, the job of HR is super boring. It's just reading. Take white and gray, even take white and blue. Take those colors. Add a little bit in your CV. Look, maybe even try to Google CV templates, different colors. CV templates white and blue. CV templates white and gray, and see what people are doing there, because it is very easy to just add a little bit here and there, and your CV will already stand out. HR, he will look at it and he will read it a little bit longer, and he will remember you. Well, and that's the main thing. We want them to remember us, right? So that's my first tip. The second tip is very straightforward. When you're doing those phone calls, okay? I'm not talking about interviews. I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm talking about the phone call, the initial screening call. So you basically can't do much there, okay? That's not a personal connection or whatever. But what you can do, and what a lot of people don't, okay? You can smile. You can just try to be you're most relaxed, still energetic, and just smile. Because basically people hear your smile and they feel nicer, okay? Any person will just hear the change of your voice. the thing is that when HRs are calling applicants, they normally don't call in a very comfortable time. You might be in a traffic jam, you might be standing there doing groceries, you might be in the middle of the room that several kids are crying and the dog wants to go out and everything just goes not exactly the way you want. And then someone is calling and you're like, hello! Who wants to proceed talking after that? And then the HR is saying like, hi there, I'm from that and that company. And then, especially this thing, if you just make an effort and think it through and just change your tone to, oh, hi there. That's a completely different attitude, and they will understand that you might not be able to talk right now, but you're really happy to hear them, and they will feel really nice about it, and that will make them feel very nice about you. So that's a good tip. Do that. Tip number 3, and this one is a mind switch. I want to talk about how when you're doing interviews, any conversation at all, when you just meet a new person, everything that person knows about you is you telling them. It might be in not only words, it might be your behavior. Are you doing like this? Not making eye contact. Maybe you're too nervous. Maybe you're using your gestures too much, okay? Maybe you're talking too fast or really slow, or you're making pauses. Any of that is basically, all of it matters. So think about it. They basically can know only what you tell them, okay? They cannot know about you something else. It's very common to think about, well, I used to think about it like that, okay? That what they think about me, I cannot influence that. Oh my God. That's the thing. Basically, if you really know how to control yourself, if you really know some basics of self-presentation, if you really know what you want to say and what you want them to remember, the moment you close the door, you just plan it all, you say it all, and that's what they think of you. It sounds very simple, but I know it's not very simple to implement. But still, just think about it. What is this that you want them to think about you? So even the appearance, how you came to the interview, it matters. Are you a rock and roll person? Or maybe you're very organized. Are you romantic? Or you're a good girl? Feminine or boring? Who you are, it's up to you to decide. But that's the thing also. I actually suggest you to build your image the way that you will have like all elements of how you look like, clothes and hair and haircut and everything. But what I suggest, don't make accents, don't make crazy things. Make everything and anything possible for all these things, basically just to be highlighting your personality, so that it will pop up, not your lipstick or bosom or the way you make your hair, So it's not only about how you look like, right? It's basically about everything that you're telling them. Just think about it. What you tell them is what they think about you. That's so cool. That actually gives you so much control. So, tip number 4. This one is also basically a mind switch, okay? You have to think about this specific role, okay? Not all your experience and, like go chronologically in chronological order about all your experience, but about this specific role, okay? Maybe something in your experience which is amazing, but maybe it's completely not relevant to this role, Think about it like that. When you go to an interview, well, first of all, there is a limited time, okay? Like normally 1 hour interview, or depends, okay? If it's a phone interview, it's like completely way less. And then adding up to this, the attention of a person you have not even for an hour, it's way less, okay? Basically, from first seconds, they see you, you're talking, and they make some kind of decision. And then basically, if it was a good impression, all the rest of the interview, all you have to do is just not to break it. So one of the tips here is basically think about this specific role, okay? Read about this role, exclude the things that are less relevant to this role, and talk very on point with examples about things that are relevant to this role. Create several pointers, and on each of them that are relevant to this role, and on each of them have 2 examples, for example. Anyways, I hope you got me. Have several pointers, have examples, be on point. And eventually, tip number 5. So tip number 5 is very easy. Just think that your interviewers are not extrasenses or not telepaths, okay? And what I mean by that is things that are obvious for you especially when you're talking to an HR person, they just don't know that, okay? They have their own profession. Well, we're not going to debate about if they're good or not good at that profession, but what I want to say, I first actually saw it with my parents, you know. My mom, she's a nurse, and basically I see that a lot of medical knowledge, she basically thinks it's common knowledge, you know. Everyone should think that. And like, I'm talking about that, I'm telling her mom, like, you do understand that this or that specific thing, not every person knows that. And she's like, what? It's common knowledge. And it's not common knowledge. The thing is that she just learned it in college. And then she basically, it so grew on her that she thinks it's common knowledge, but it's actually the knowledge that she got while studying to become a nurse, you know. And now it's common knowledge for me because, well, I had a lot of conversations with her about it. But not every person is like that, you know. And the HR, even that they're supposed to like learn to know about your profession, they're not doing your tasks, they're not into your role. And basically, though I specifically find it very offensive when they don't know, but then instead of just getting angry at them, you know, I'm like, okay, but they're not supposed to know that. I might as well explain those things to them, you know. Well, in marketing, it's called market education, which is very sad that we have to do these things. But still, you can have here two approaches. You can be angry that it's like that, or you can basically think how to turn the situation to your advantage. So if we're thinking second direction, you know, how we make it better for us, I would just suggest even recording yourself on the phone, WhatsApp, whatever you think, okay? Or talking to friends and asking those friends and like also listening through that recordings and thinking maybe there are things that people don't understand. Try to get as more of those things as you can and just write down every single one of them and write down short and sweet explanations of those things. And basically this specific tip, you know, I didn't come up with it by myself. I got it from my boyfriend because at some point I was talking about one of the roles that I used to have. I was working in travel industry and well, it's really fascinating, and I was explaining him how things work there. And basically, even that he's in the same profession that I am, he didn't understand me. And he was like, Maria, do you understand that people don't know these things? Do you understand that they, if you don't explain it, they will just nod and proceed because they won't feel comfortable to ask you for explanation, or they will think that it's irrelevant and they will just not understand the beauty of the things that you did. And I was like, wow, he's so right, you know. So that's how I want to end today's video. Communicate clearly and create your image. Personal branding is actually all about that. Basically, think about your story, think about your examples, think about all these ways to explain yourself in a better way and to present yourself in a better way. And if we come back to the beginning of this video and you think again, personal branding, what do you hear? I'm really interested if your perception of these words changed. Please comment below. I really want to know, did you ever feel misunderstood? Did you ever feel like they're very, very, very mistaken about you? And now, well, maybe they commented about you, maybe they wrote something to you, or maybe at the end of the interview they said something on the next interview, you know? Have you ever felt like, wow, they're so mistaken? Comment below, tell me, maybe you regret about saying something or not saying something. I really want to know. Please comment below. All of these questions, very interesting. If you have some story, I really want to please share that. People need to hear your story, okay? And if you like this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be around for some while.